Well, good evening as Sunday wraps up and gets close to going into the book as completed. It's November 10th, 2019, Journal 222, T plus 222. And it's been a busy day. It's been a day we got a lot accomplished, uh, but it's a day, a day um, it feels like my head's going to explode. I've been wandering around most of the day trying to hold three things in my head simultaneously, working on all three of them at the same time. I don't know if you do that. I certainly don't recommend it. Um, Unfortunately, I do it a lot. Um, that doesn't mean that I'm necessarily good at it. It just means that I can't not do it. I've tried really hard to focus on one thing at a time, and it's impossible. Or at least it seems impossible. And I've never succeeded, so I have to believe it's impossible. What I'm working on really it was the content for tonight's blog, a column that I started this morning and got almost halfway through, and a talk that I've been asked to give um, on my experience with cancer. And the column is interesting in and of itself because it incorporates one of the things that we've been talking about on the blog, management by wandering around. Um, and one of the chapters that's in Misfire, What to Do When Things Aren't Running on All Cylinders, a chapter on flexibility. And which takes that concept of flexibility in a whole different direction. And I'll explain that in a minute. And this, trying to explain in a very short, abbreviated time period um, what my experience has been uh, with the diagnosis, subsequent treatment, and now recovery from a very rare and until very recently, uh, almost always terminal bone marrow cancer. Uh, the column, I'll start there because that's what I started with this morning, and framing it and getting a big portion of it down on paper, down on down on digits, actually on ones and zeros. Um, Talks about this concept of flexibility. Flexibility is important. It's an important aspect of martial arts training. It keeps you loose. It keeps your body fluid, and it gives you the ability to respond more quickly, with greater speed, with more force, generally. Um, but it also, I mean, part of that flexibility, certainly around your head and your neck, are critically important because of the impact they have on peripheral vision. You know, peripheral vision is the vision that you have off to the side, looking straight ahead. And if you're flexible and you're not tight, uh, your movement side to side expands your field of vision dramatically. And when your field of vision is expanded dramatically and your peripheral vision is increased, um, you have the ability to see more, to be aware of more that's happening around you. So your situational awareness improves. And seeing more around you, especially seeing more around you, um, should equal better decisions because you have more and better information. And or at least decisions that are better informed, that are more well informed. And I think that's really important to recognize. So that's what the column is going to be all about. This is the 10th of November, as I mentioned, and I just finished watching 60 Minutes. And there was a long interview with Jamie Dimon, the head of Chase Bank, JP Morgan Chase. And in that interview, he talked about his becoming aware of the fact that he had cancer, throat cancer. And he's 5 years in remission now. So he's about to be pronounced cured. He said something that really resonated with me. I was diagnosed, and I've mentioned this before, on February 14th, 2014. Naturally, I told Leslie. But I made her promise to keep that information from everybody until I was ready to share it. And then obviously we would share it with our kids first, and then with the rest of the world. Well, that rollout took almost a year. It took me almost a year to get my head around it, and there was a lot of reluctance there. And it was interesting to me because Jamie Dimon shared this same sentiment, echoing the fact that diagnosis of cancer changes everything. And one of the things that changes is how you communicate with others about yourself and about the cancer. And that, in a way, is helping me to get my head wrapped around what I really want to talk about in the very short period of time I have to share my experience with a fairly large group of people, depending on how you define large. So that's one of the things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about, one of the things I'm going to talk about is that moment of clarity that you achieve when you get the diagnosis, and how everything changes subsequent to that, and how it's it colors everything that goes through your mind from the moment you're diagnosed on. And it defines you. Whether you want to be defined that way or not, you tend to define yourself that way. As much as no one wants to be defined as a cancer patient or somebody that has cancer. So we're going to talk a lot about that. And as you can already tell, the blog and its content have taken care of themselves in discussing those two things, because I think it's important to remain connected to those feelings and not to allow yourself to become either too pessimistic or too optimistic about your situation, about your condition, even when you're recovering and even when things are looking really good. I don't know anybody that can have a diagnosis and hear those words. You have cancer. Get your house in order, and be the same. I don't know that I'd want to. I would like to think that you can transcend that and become a better person, and that's what I've tried to do. But as I get closer to that presentation, I think we'll probably wind up talking more about what the content is going to look like. In the meantime, try to concentrate on one thing at a time. As my granddaughter Sadie has told me more than once, guys, focus on just one thing, not three. It'll certainly ease the headache that results in the residual pain that comes with it. Till tomorrow, stay well and take care. Look forward to talking to you again then.